Oh, we got them all.
Nice.
I'll go
Where
with
are you
that.
going, by the way, Roger? You've been out on the road for a while, right?
Yeah, just wanted to. I'm going to spend some time out in California, and
Nice.
wanted to take my dog, and it was the easiest way to do it. And at the same time, visit friends and do things that I hadn't had a chance to do for forever. And so, like this morning, I wound up in Provo, Utah, and a friend of mine who was in a bike wreck 16 years ago that I was in, and I almost died, and he died, and I never got to see his gravesite. So I went there and visited his gravesite, and it was actually pretty emotional. But it was good. And then spent some time, went to St. Louis, saw the Gateway Arch, and hung out there for a bit. Had some St. Louis barbecue, then hit Kansas City, and had
look, Jen.
oh my
Oh my
God.
God, stop.
And had some Kansas City barbecue. I love that. That's
You're
really
ready for
cool.
the
I'm doing
rave.
that too. I gotta see that too. Where did you see? Oh, here we go. That is cool. I don't see the eyebrows. I see backgrounds and filters.
I didn't even know you could do this stuff.
Yeah, if you go down to the right, where it says Studio Effects Beta, if it's on there, you can click on that.
Oh yeah, I'm on an iPad. I don't have that. Oh well. But anyway, I wound up going to Kansas City after that, and visited a friend of mine, Nate Frenger, who's out there and lives out there, and hung out there and had some Kansas City barbecue, and then went up to Boulder and hung out in Boulder for a couple of days with a buddy of mine who is never saw their place, and then Provo, now Boise, to visit a client tomorrow. Yep, Boise. And then tomorrow not tomorrow, Friday, Salt Lake City.
I don't have any of that.
And
cool
then
stuff.
Vegas. So,
oh wow,
and then San Diego. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Then San Diego. Are you
then I'm gonna stay in San Diego for a little while.
Nice. Okay. Oh, where are you staying? Do you know about
Danny Hill's house.
He's parked.
Yeah, exactly.
His driveway.
In my drive, yeah. Wherever I want. No, buddy of mine actually has a little horse ranch out there and has a RV hookup. So I'm just gonna park my RV there and
Live off the land, as they say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dude, I'm so
then
jealous.
I'm probably gonna keep it out here for a little bit, and then just fly back to Nashville and hang out in Nashville for a little while, and then come back out to California for a little while and go back and forth this year, because I mean nothing really ties me down right now. So it's an opportunity to kind of spend time in different places.
Franny, do you tie him down? Is that part of the thing?
Yeah, she can be a real something.
Slipknot.
Hey Roger, just so you know,
Roger just got really quiet.
I think for better or for worse, he can't hear us. Roger, do you know that while you were in Boulder and Franny was in Boulder, it's funny you say those two words together, because right now I figured he couldn't hear.
Probably a good thing.
What can't you hear, Roger?
We can't hear Roger.
Can't hear you.
I'm faking it. Sorry.
Oh,
you're so good at faking.
So while you're
wow.
Good. That was pretty awesome. Franny, does he fake it?
He fakes it.
No, I fake it all the time.
How would you know? If you fake it all the time, how do you know if you're not?
That's not real. If you fake it all the time, would that constitute it being real?
Right. Yeah.
Existential
on Wednesday. So there, in the book that I'm currently reading, a Stephen King novel, and there is the main character is a girl named Franny, and it's based in Boulder.
Well, that would be The Stand.
That would be The
Not
Stand.
like we don't all know that.
Did anyone else know that on the call?
No, I
did
didn't know
not.
Stand, but I totally forgot about the Boulder
I
part.
actually knew that because I've not read The Stand, but I've watched it.
Yes.
Franny got pregnant, Roger.
Hey.
Yeah.
Alan, you were
Roger's pulling out.
spoilers. Do not do it to me.
Alan, the good guys win.
Really?
Sorry, you broke up.
The good guys win.
It's
I can't. We can't hear you, Roger.
It's not worth watching, Al.
What? it's just
It wasn't really that good.
Good. I'll finish the book.
yeah. The book
Which
is
I was going to
fabulous
finish.
though.
You know
It's
what I
really
did start
long.
watching was Al on Netflix. There's a Korean series called, I think it's called Sisyphus or The Myth or something like that, which is pretty good. I've enjoyed it.
Syphilis.
Syphilis.
Yeah.
Syphilis
I
or
did start
something.
watching my syphilis recently.
It's syphilis, the Boise,
I read
Idaho
an article
story.
that rates are
Crazy.
up through the roof. STD rates are like way up right now.
Thank God. You kill some people
Because
off.
Rocker's on the road, man.
He's spreading that seed, baby.
Chad, do you have a pair of glasses you can don for the evening?
It's the friendliest. It's the friendliest set of herpes you've ever seen.
Well, it's because it's Canadian.
I know. I know.
It's a good little side
Well,
of poutine.
Well, Roger, I will tell you this. This is what happens every week with our guests. I simply come on to say hello, and then I leave. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's
Justin,
a
I
good
think
gig. That's
Justin's
good work if you can get it.
Well, and on the other end, I do a little bit of editing and then make these guys sound better, and then which is hard to do because they sound so good already. But Justin's screen's frozen because he's been in that position for at least the last 45 minutes. Oh, there he is.
I don't know what he's looking down at. That's good. I'm kind of a little concerned about.
Everybody.
Us.
I'm looking at Instagram pictures of Ash Fork, Arizona.
So
This is-
Chad,
I
we're
found
all tonight's
picture of
theme is
Stan.
RV. So you need to find yourself
Oh, I'm gonna grab an RV then.
an RV
Got
shop.
it. No problem. I can find the one of mine where it's burning down. Strangely enough, right outside of Boulder, Colorado.
Wow.
What?
I saw
Everything-
that scene on the stand.
Real soon. Real.
Everything
soon.
goes back to Boulder.
Everything. It's
Even
all
my
turning up
even
Boulder.
my ginger ale is Boulder.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Real, yeah. I bought the extra bold ginger ale. That's a mistake.
Oh,
Ginger ale
speaking
didn't-
of that,
Oh, the extra boulder.
I need a new Fresca.
Oh, Fresca. I haven't had one of those.
I haven't had a Fresca in a long time. That reminds me of, I used to drink the Squirt, which is not
Wait.
the thing that happened in college. Speaking of-
Oh man, I wanted to, but I'm not going to now.
Hey, Alan,
Come on.
look at in your honor, buddy. In your honor. In your honor.
Oh, bye.
Oh,
Oh, those things roll too.
well, that's the lime one. That's not as good.
Is it coconut lime fusion?
I like the coconut pineapple.
Oh.
And order it.
All right.
I have a subscription on Amazon. That's how much I drink.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he's
got
back.
multi.
There it
Yeah,
is.
there you go. He'll show
There
you.
it is.
Asking you
That
shall
was-
receive, Alan.
Yeah.
I like to mix it up a little. Varieties is twice a
I
lot.
mixed up straight bourbon. You can't see the glass, but you can see the
You,
bourbon.
can
you've
see
been
the
doing
bourbon.
pretty good at drinking that.
Mm.
Time for a refill before we
So-
even start.
So here's probably
Oh.
what's going to happen tonight is Alan's going to have 3 or 4 bourbons and he's going to tell everybody the lineup, and I'm going to have to go back in and edit the whole thing.
Not gonna happen.
Well,
Which is why we're not live.
Hey man, Chad, that's a funny idea though. Hey Alan,
Yeah.
no,
We're
Yeah,
not doing
shit.
this on Facebook for the first 30. I thought that's what we were doing from now on.
no. For
hey, why wouldn't would
We should do
that'd
this.
be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. Just pick a
Here's-
few of our people
here's-
and
here's
announce
why
the
we-
line up on one of these.
Here's why we decided not to do that on this one, Alan, because it was going to turn into a entire lineup conversation in text and thread.
You don't have to answer questions in the comments.
Well, then why do we do it online?
Just to get them hyped is like we're talking to the guy that books our lineup, and I can say something like we're really close on our lineup, or we have 19 bands booked, or something. You know what I'm saying? Something like that would.
And this year we
close.
thought we'd go a different direction, and
Do we have
booked
time
Katy
right now
Perry.
then to hook it up into live stream? Even though I've
You know,
changed it back
Sorry,
to
I would have
morning?
brought this up sooner. I just thought we were starting that already.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
as long as
we
no
don't
one's
have to.
looking
If
at
it's
the
a- if
comments
it's a
and just
hassle,
letting
then-
them ask.
It's not a
instead of-
hassle. It's a matter of
Best
are we-
value for bourbon out there.
See, there you go, guys. Here's what we can
Seriously.
do. Here's what we can do, but maybe it's not live, it's just posted.
Fuck it, let's do it live.
We're doing it live!
Let's burn it down. Let's burn it down like
All
my
right,
RV.
so we go
in,
to live
Colorado
then?
a few years ago.
Why not?
All All right.
No, just because we talked about it and this wasn't really the one to go live with because the comments and the entire thing.
Well,
I figured
why don't we do this, Al? Why don't we say, hey, look, guys, we're
we'll go
not going to
live
announce
after.
why don't we just say, hey, at the beginning, hey, we want to do this. We're not going to announce the lineup right now, guys. We want to show you the process that goes about the lineup. And Alan has some information regarding where we're at with the lineup, but we're not going to give you it. So please ask no questions about what lineup we have.
You can ask.
I don't even know if we do that.
Well, let's just not waste anyone's time then, because all we're going to get is frustrated if we say, oh, nope, lineup, nope, not going to answer your question.
You know what though?
I mean,
I after one of the conversations I had today, which was about connecting with fans,
Mhm.
I actually kind of like the idea because one of the things that we talk about in my Q&A on the ship every year is freaking lineup and how we build the lineup and how we go about building the lineup. And I think as long as we don't start mentioning bands for this year, this is not a lineup announcement.
Is that what you want in the title if we're going live? Like, is that?
I don't think so. They know. I mean, that's what
are we
I'm
going to
saying.
go live? Because
you know what?
let me
you don't need to
post
do
it real
that,
quick.
Jen. You don't need to do that, Jen.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have to title it and do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to post it.
I mean, listen, who knows? All 5 people that are going to see us spontaneously. I don't think we have to worry.
You're gonna
Those
be
three were gonna
surprised.
tune
You're
in
gonna
like
be
by the
surprised.
droves.
You're gonna be surprised,
Oh my god.
which is fine.
Let's do it. Fuck it. Let's do it live.
We're doing it live.
Okay. I'm working on
You
it.
have to get up and make a big thing about it.
All right, living La Vida Loco.
Wait, can we start? Can we start with that?
Yeah.
What
That's
are the
really-
actual words? I got to figure it out. Hold on.
Living La Vida Loco?
No. What's his name?
Bill O'Reilly.
Ricky?
I was just
Ricky.
talking about this with somebody the other day about we're doing it live.
Hold on. Is it we're doing it live?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he says, fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah, fuck it, we're doing it live.
Hey,
But no, hey, Jen, as far as the name, the title,
We'll do it live.
I would,
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Oh, that's it.
Do it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Yeah. I don't even think we have to put anything about what it is. Say, hey,
Oh,
we're having fun. We decided to bring this one live as a special.
wait,
treat for you
Roger.
guys.
We need to make sure, Roger, do you have stage fright?
no, are you kidding me?
But I mean,
We're
I'm just
about-
going to title it Making
We're about to
Waves with
be
Roger
live in
Moore.
front of tens of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Tens of people? I mean, that's
Live-
bigger
live
than any
segment.
crowd I've ever performed in front.
Live
Listen,
podcast segment.
Making Waves live.
Yeah, Making Waves live with Talent Buyer, with ShipRocked.
How
Talent
did you guys
Buyer.
ever come up with something as creative as Making Waves live?
Who do you think did it?
Well, at least we didn't do behind the sea. What is it? Behind the what, Al?
Behind the sea.
Behind the sea.
Under the sea.
Chad, guess who started a new podcast,
Guess
Chad?
who started a podcast, Chad?
Who you did.
6 men.
Oh, six
Question:
man
Are we
did?
doing
Ended.
just 30
I think
minutes?
it should be Making Waves virtually
That's
live.
Fucking hilarious.
Almost live.
Here's the thing. I like the idea of doing this live because it sort of almost telegraphs that we're getting closer to lineup, which we are. And I think I can. I mean, look, what do we have? 19 bands? Is that what I got to count?
Mhm.
Not just say 19 or so. We don't need, don't burn the energy. Just say we're getting there. You know what to do. We're doing it live.
Fuck it.
Almost live.
Doing it live.
Virtually live. Live from Boise.
Boise.
Did you do your text yet,
Wednesday
Jen?
night.
No,
7,
Okay.
I haven't even initiated it yet because
Okay, here we go.
10, 11, 12.
For really fun.
Yeah, we've got almost 20. I think we've got 19 bands. I'll just say,
That's more bands than people watching.
I'll say, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not true, y'all. It's not people will watch. We'll get lots of people watching.
Oh, the people will watch. They will watch,
Easy.
Ray.
If it's live,
They will watch, Ray.
Almost live. It's
If we
Saturday
go
night.
live, they will watch. What's the line from Field of Dreams? Come on.
If you
Build
build
it,
it,
they'll
they'll
come.
And they would come.
People will come. No,
Will
people
come.
will
hey,
come.
hey, Jen, I'm gonna give you the text right now.
People will come, Ray.
You mean like most people who
What
do
is this?
festivals?
Endpoint is
Book it
depreciated
and they will
without the
come.
accessible
Don't worry
website.
about marketing. It's not important.
What?
Yeah. As long as you have a solid headliner, bro, you'll be just fine.
Speaking of which, Roger, I talked to the world's greatest wedding planner today, who is working for this festival called what is it? Blue Ridge Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that's out. Yeah. Didn't we talk about this one before?
I don't know. They want to figure out some kind of marketing partnership with us. And I having been approached twice for other festivals, I told him, I was like, look, I'm happy to have the conversation. If we can figure out a way that it's mutually beneficial, because it hasn't been in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a weird, it's hard because we draw from everywhere. And, festivals, I mean, it's not like our audience is going to go probably, unless the festival's in one of our peak areas like Florida or Texas or something
On
like
the
that.
Virginia-North Carolina border.
Yeah. Now, maybe we can find a way to draw new people from that area. I don't know.
That's why I told him. I was like, look, if we can figure out a way that, by the way, does mustache look like half darker? The darker on this side?
It does.
great, bro.
It does. It actually
What is
does.
that
It looks like
about?
you shave. It's lighting in the RV.
It's because, you know why? Because there's more gray over here now.
Yeah, it looks like you shave the right side.
I'll wear a mask.
Somebody shave me.
Just drink more, Alan. It won't matter.
That really sucks.
Hey, Jen, you want me to post? I posted the Instagram. You want me to post it to Facebook?
Does it really look that dark?
Oh, that's classic.
The RV.
Yeah,
Carvey.
that's the one I
The
want. Look at
Carvey.
it. Look at what
Yeah.
is that? Is that a Peugeot or something? I think that's a Peugeot. That's some Euro trash RV right there.
Yeah,
No,
it's pretty
that's
smoking.
definitely from Tennessee or maybe even.
Oh, I like that. Perfect.
I like
Chad.
that.
I like it a
Thank you.
lot.
Another one. I like that. That's what's his name?
Jen has us on mute because she's having phone sex.
Ooh,
Another one. That's his name. You know the guy. The guy. Is my
Not
vocal
the
loud?
guy.
But my voice.
How do
loud,
they
by the way?
how do they know what we're doing, Jen?
Oh, she's on with Al.
Can they see us?
Do we
what
get
are
to
they
go?
doing having this
How do
sidebar?
they know? How do they
That's
how do they
not
know?
right.
Now
Okay,
they
I'm gonna hang up
know.
now.
Secrets
I'm gonna hang up now in front of everybody.
We get to go?
We're
get in an
on,
argument.
we're good to go on live. So if you guys are ready, then we can
We're
just
doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Almost.
You have to get up every
Oh,
time.
I'm getting
Tell me when it starts.
stage
so I can
fright.
say-
I've got a tick.
All right. Are we ready?
No, hang on a
I'm
second.
RV
Bye.
ready?
Yeah, we're RV ready.
RV ready?
RVs are ready.
We are ready.
3, 2, 1.
All right, we're doing it
He is.
live. Fuck it.
Almost live.
We're live. All right. Sorry for the late announcement, folks out there in ShipRocked land, about going live. We were going to do it live, a partial live podcasting that we're going to be doing going forward, but that's for another time. And then we said, well, we'll just do a podcast. But now Roger and the captain said, fuck it, we're doing it live, so we're doing it live. Welcome, everyone, to this special edition of Making Waves with our guest, someone you guys really might be interested in. You've probably seen him on the boat, but he's kind of in the shadows a lot. Anyway, it's our talent buyer, Roger LeBlanc.
Alan doesn't like me.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. Everyone, welcome Al. Welcome,
because you're
obviously,
great.
Roger. Well, say hello, Roger. This is your first time with
Hello,
us.
Roger.
Hello, Roger. There you go.
Hey,
And then, of
Justin.
course, the captain, Alan, has joined us as well. And did Al disappear? And I guess he did.
And I guess
he left.
we all
And
know.
of course, you guys know Chad Nicefield. He's the hostess with the mostest.
hello. Hi,
There you
how
go.
are you guys? Good to see you.
So anyway, well, tonight, guys, welcome. We're going to do this live. So obviously we wanted to bring Roger and Alan on because we were always talking about the lineup. And they're going to give you a breakdown of how the process is, how this happens, what the genesis of it all is, and how they go through talking with
Genesis
agents
is not
and
booked
bands.
this year.
Do what?
Genesis is not booked this year. Sorry.
But everyone seems to cover Phil Collins, so I think
No,
we're okay.
but yeah, Phil
Wait,
Collins is booked. And
Very quickly, if you say you don't like Phil Collins, you're a liar.
Yeah.
Everyone likes Phil Collins.
And we're gonna spank
Yeah.
you.
Anyway, so
he
guys,
hasn't
if you
aged
have
well.
questions-
Justin just went, yeah. Anyway,
if you have questions, go ahead and pose those to us, and we'll get to them. We expect we're going to get the number one question, which is the lineup.
Yeah, not gonna happen. Not gonna
That
happen.
won't happen,
Number
but we're
one
going to give you
answer
some
will be,
news
we can't
regarding
say.
the lineup. We'll give you some news regarding the lineup, which again, we're always about giving you guys new news, even if it's not actual news, but it is somewhat newsy.
Well, I'll
That
break the
sounds
news
really
now.
terrible.
We're really close. We're really
Very
close to announcing the lineup. We're very close to announcing the lineup. We're very excited about this year's lineup. 22 lineup. I don't know what year it is anymore. What year is it, Chad?
2021.
It's 21.
Is
Yeah.
it? Okay. We're very close to having a lineup to announce, so stay
Yeah.
tuned for that.
Anyway, well, we wanted to bring him on for a long time now, so we're just glad Roger made it. Roger right now is in the midst of doing a American tour in his RV and with his dog, and he seems to be having a grand time. But the rest of us are holding down the fort. So
Yes.
I'm-
Well, Alan's in his RV.
I'm in
Look.
my RV.
Alan is actually in his RV in his
Oh,
driveway. So
sorry,
I
I
guess
forgot to get
that's
mine.
traveling.
Chad had an RV a minute ago, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I
Well,
got out of
actually,
her
Chad
second-
had one, but it's somewhere in, I guess, in flames. There you go, in Boulder.
Ooh.
This is my real old RV burning down in right outside of Boulder.
Yep.
Oh,
I
and
also
there's
have
the
a dog,
puppy.
Justin. I have my dog. in the
Oh,
RV.
and welcome everyone. That is Luna. That is the wonderful
Aw.
little Luna, which we
Luna,
have
can you say
decided
hi to people?
in Spanish is moon, or what are we going with?
It's my dog filter. Oh, wait.
Lunch.
There goes
Oh
her
my
head.
God, headless dog. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to. I don't want to do that. I'm trying to get my other computer online so I can answer your questions.
I think we should just
They're all going to be the
make
same
up
question.
questions for
What's the lineup?
No, there might be some other ones they were going to want to know. But basically, Roger, while I'm doing this, could you please give a breakdown of who you are, what you've done, and how you came to be a part of this family?
Well, I think I got into this business probably because it was penance for some misdeed that I did somewhere along the line. But I was fortunate enough when I moved to Nashville about 12 years ago to find a little office space with Big Al and in his building at the time. And I was going to say Little Alan, but that probably isn't going to work. And other Alan had his office there, and we became friends, and we got to talking about booking and bands. And at the time, he was doing all the booking for ShipRocked, and I think this was year 2, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember. You shared an office space with Al and I, because
Yeah.
Al was the only guy I had working for me at the time, basically. Or no, he wasn't even working for me
He
yet.
wasn't working for
He
you.
had his
They had the
management- Yeah, he had his
big show,
management company.
big show co, or yeah.
And I didn't have any employees yet. And so I had an office kind of adjacent to you and him.
Mhm.
And you and I went to lunch one day. I had no idea what you did. And we went to lunch one day, and I was like, "What do you do?" You said, "Oh, well, I'm a talent booker." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Have you ever booked a cruise before?" You said, "No." And I said, "Well, let's talk about it." So we did. And that developed our relationship, and you've been our talent buyer. I think you're right. Since year
Yeah, it's about 10 years.
3, I think it was the third year. I think the third year.
Yeah, you had done the first 2.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, as most of my clients turn out to be, became very frustrated with the process and dealing with the agents and the
agents
stuff
were
that we-
great. We love our agents.
we love them. No, I mean, it's just sometimes the process, and we've all got our clients to do work for, as anybody who's familiar with this business knows, is we all live to serve the artists, and that is our humble joy. There's no sarcasm in that, none whatsoever. That's the truth. So anyway, we became, we did that first year, and we've started, creating, I think, we've evolved since then. When I started, I remember it was a lot of the 80s stuff and a lot of the 80s hairband things. And not that any of that is not good, because I think we enjoyed doing some of that stuff. Jeff Tate was definitely a guest of ours for many years. And we've kind of evolved now. And I think every year we look to stretch our wings a little bit and evolve the lineup. And I love working. Alan and I work together on it. And what I love, and I have about 20 clients, well, had up until last March, about 20 clients. And what I love about working with Alan is it's a it's really a joint process, and he's really intelligent about what he's trying to do with the cruise. There's always a reason. It's not, hey, I want to book my favorite band. Sometimes there's one or two of those that we want to do, and we've gotten to the point where that can happen. But it's about moving the cruise forward and moving the event and the lineup forward every year and evolving. And I think anybody who's been doing it.
Yeah, I think if you came in second year or third, I forget.
Third.
Yeah, okay. So I mean,
was still a half ship. We were on the MSC Poesia, I think.
Yeah, but you only did. I think you only did one half ship, right?
One half ship. Yeah.
So I mean, the year before you, I mean, really, you do mention the '80s, and you're correct. We had some artists in the headline slots that were sort of the '80s rock artists. But I mean, the second year we had Seven Dust, Blackstone Cherry, 10 Years, Drowning Pool.
Yeah.
So in the third year, when you joined us, we ended up with Queensryche, Buck Cherry, Hell Yeah, Candlebox, Living Color. So I mean, we had some of that '80s stuff in it, but it's always been a hard rock cruise. I mean,
Yeah.
my sort of philosophy and my mantra on this, which is that it's about great hard rock music, not beholden to subgenre or generation.
Yeah.
And so
it's quality. I mean,
yeah.
I've had opportunities to book bands on ShipRocked that probably were good ticket sellers, good draws, but Alan didn't like the live show or didn't really feel good about them musically, and we've moved on from them. And
that's the
I
other
like
part
that.
of it. That's the other part of it is I want great live acts.
Yeah.
There have been a handful of acts. I wouldn't say a lot, but there have been a handful of acts over the years that just don't really pull it off live. And I mean, that's no dissing them, and great music, but I want great live bands because that's what it is. I mean, no one goes up on stage to play their CDs. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I want to know that the bands that we're hiring and paying good money to are going to get up there and kill it and give our guests the best show that they can give. And so, being able to play great live shows is always a big part of what you and I talk about. And we look on YouTube and we watch live performances and see how they are.
I mean, I can't tell you that there's been many a time that you've asked me to get you into shows in the Nashville area at times or something, just so you can see the live show, you and Al both. And I enjoy that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was getting at. A lot of our clients, when we're working on these things, they really just want to book their favorite bands a lot of times, or they don't really get the way you made a comment to me earlier today when we were talking about one of the bands on this year's lineup, and you were talking about following the thread or threading the needle with respect to genres. And, I've been doing this for 30 years. And Alan's been in the business a long time too, as a manager and different things, but rarely do I find clients where they understand the importance of band A somehow working with band Z at the end of the day, or all the bands. There needs to be a thread, and it binds the lineup together. So you're not looking at this kind of thrown up lineup that really you can't find a reason it should be there together. And that doesn't necessarily, like Alan said, mean it has to be the genre. I mean, there's bands from the 60s that were influenced, bands from today who are influenced by bands from the 60s. And I think or whenever, and it's really fun and interesting, I think, to work those threads. So there's two sides of our business, and that's the fun part. There's the artistic side, which I think that's probably the side Alan and I coordinate together on most of the time. And he leaves me the negotiating part a lot of times and gives me parameters to work with. And then you've got the business side. The business side isn't always that sexy, or fun. The artistic side, and there is an art to it, of putting a lineup together, making it cohesive and making it entertaining for the customers. That's the fun part.
Yeah, I mean, and Chad knows. Chad's been a talent buyer for a club in Detroit for a long time.
That's right. Yeah.
Still is, or maybe was. I don't know.
Chatty Daddy.
But Chatty Daddy. But yeah, I mean, and Chad and I have even talked about the lineup this year. I mean, Chad, he kind of knows. Well, let's go back a little bit and let's talk about Chad. So Roger, what did I tell you before, or when I called you up that one day about Chad's band? Chad was for people who don't know, Chad was in a band called Wilson.
If you, yeah,
Yeah. If you're
if
familiar
you still
with
want to check us out, you
you're
know,
on a band called Wilson that's been on
You
ShipRocked.
always tell this story out, and
Because it's a great story.
It's 90% accurate.
It is
and
90% accurate. So what
it's
did I tell you?
90% accurate. You
So
said book
when
them or
I
you're
called
fired.
you,
You
yeah,
said
that's right.
book them or you're fired.
So
However, you always like to think you discovered them. They were pitched to me by
I
their
know.
agency at the time, and I brought them to your attention.
You did.
And you said book them or you're fired.
Yeah, I did. You sent me
And we all love them. I mean, truly, that has been one of the best experience. And you bringing that up, the fact that we get to do that. Look at Bad Flower, who we've brought on as kind of an early band, and there's a few others that we've brought on as early in their careers, and then watching them evolve within ShipRocked and also outside of ShipRocked, and that's a blast.
Yeah, I mean, I come from an artist management background, and so I mean that's probably the artist manager in me is finding these fun, cool, new young bands that I think people will totally dig, and then really embracing them and trying to to do what we can with our little booze crews to help them out. But yeah, so Chad, I mean, I've told you this story, but Roger sent me one of your promo videos from Wilson, and I called him up and I said, you book these guys or you're fired.
The funniest part about all of that is you're like 99%. That's that side of it. On my side of it, I saw the thing get announced, and being a talent buyer in my office at the time, I pay attention to everything that's getting announced when it comes to like festivals, because I'm thinking about what my calendar looks like and what's going to happen around this area.
You can pilfer from the bill,
or who I
that's
think
what
may or
we
may
do.
not. But I'm in Michigan, so at the time, Florida didn't really make sense. However, I saw that the lineup that year had an act called Butcher Babies on it, and my agent at the time, our agent still when we broke up, was Brian Vestano and Tim Boer, and Brian Vestano was repping. Great man, incredible human. Him and his wife are like the best, right? So he gets that same sort of version of what you told Roger, Al, from me, but jokingly, because I'm a baby band. But I'm like, hey, I saw that Butcher Babies are playing this fest on the seas called ShipRocked. What do you think the chances are that Wilson could do that? Knowing that, like, because I was that guy, I'll ask all the time, And he's like, it's already booked, man. I'm like, okay, but can you ask? And then he's like, okay, what do you want me to send him? And I sent them that video that you're talking about that we had made. And I said, I don't know. This is all we have to really show what we're about. They're probably going to think we're fucking crazy, but just see what they say. And he calls me the next day and he's like, all right, fucker, sit down. I was like, what's up? And he's like, so it fucking worked. You got an offer to play that ship, and they were already booked, like at full capacity. Like no more bands were gonna get added on, but somehow they were into your video, and actually you told Brian what Alan had told you, because he says, and apparently the guy who does the ship, started the ship, thinks you're pretty cool. And I was like, what? So that was like a big moment for us as a band. I tell
Chad,
Alan all this all the time. What's up?
Chad, what did being on ShipRocked do for Wilson?
This is
in different ways. I really, and give us the Cliff Notes version, but you know what I'm asking, because there's many different aspects of from a business and a personal perspective.
So 100%, I don't think anybody in Wilson till the day that we broke up didn't understand what that ship, the catalyst that ship was for our career, how people looked at us after we got put on that lineup, and what happened on the magic of that boat in general was something that I still to this day have goosebumps thinking about, because of all the years I was in bands, from 18 touring internationally to in another band to Wilson. Never did I have that experience where nobody knows who you are and they're all paying attention. And we played the Atrium the first show, and we were just like, we're gonna party on this fucking boat, and that's all we really cared about at that point. We didn't think that anybody was ever going to take Wilson, which by the way started just to get free beer while one of the dudes was like in college. It wasn't even supposed to be what it turned into. But when we played that day in the atrium, and I'm looking around, I'm like, why are so many fucking people in this room? And then I looked at some of the people, I'm like, why are the people that are my fucking heroes in this room right now? And then the energy just got so intense for me personally that I like welted up. Like I started to like tear up. Like this is like real life, you know, like it's happening. Like people care. And from that moment, people cared, not just in the ShipRocked world, which was massive for our band, but like other people started to book us, and other people started to hear that about that show on that boat, and the support opportunities our band got because of it from them seeing us there.
Well,
Like
Chad,
everything
I
changed.
kind of want to chime in for a second. And, you know, again, doing it for a long time, and you also buy, so, you know, it's easy to get jaded. And
Sure.
I think one of the things that really endeared you guys to us, and certainly to me personally, was the way you guys went on the ship and self-promoted and really went out there. And like you say, you went on there to party, but you also were out there marketing your product, talking to people, making new fans before you even hit the stage. And I think that that's something that a lot of young acts can learn or could learn. Because you know, Wilson's not the first young band that we've put on the ship, new band. And not all, they could, you know, you could probably do a class on that. And it would take them a long way, because some of these acts are really good. But, you know, it's like the old saying goes, right? When a tree falls in the forest, does it, you know, no one, does it really fall in the fall? Whatever that fucking saying is. But is this PG? Sorry. Does it make a sound? Yeah. These bands that are good, it's like you can't just get on stage and play. You've got to let people know you're there. And I think you guys did that the whole cruise and endeared yourself. I mean, I remember watching the people leave that cruise with Wilson shirts on. And I know that your merch sales were great on that first ship for a band that nobody knew. So,
Well, some knew by the time we sailed. I will say, let's give credit to our guests, because one of the
point.
really truly amazing, unique, wonderful things about this cruise is our community guests. And they are avid listeners. They are active listeners to music, and they buy merch, they buy CDs, they, you know, they will spend their dollars to go see shows. And, you know, it's one of the weird things for me still to this day. I still have a hard time sort of believing and accepting that, you know, that the people who go on our cruise are that amazing. And they are. And I mean, I know that they are. I believe that they are. But, you know, I think you and I, Chad, you and I talked about this early on too, which is that we booked you guys, and then all of a sudden you had a bunch of ShipRocked guests showing up at your shows. And I don't know that these were people that would have ever gone to a show or known about it or heard about it or whatever, but because we booked you guys, they came to your show. And that's the kind of guests we have. I mean, if we book a band and all of a sudden they don't know about it or they haven't heard, they go and investigate it because they're invested in music. They love music. And that's one of the reasons why we work so hard every year to make sure that the lineup that Roger and I work on every year, we think they'll love. We, you know, everything from surveys of the bands that we know they know, to the bands that we sort of find along the way and try to bring to their attention, like we've done with Wilson and we've done with other bands too. And, you know, so I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love working with Roger. You know, I probably don't pay him nearly enough.
Thank you, Alan. But, I love working with you, buddy. Really.
But it's fun. I mean, I think honestly, running the cruise is fun. Putting together the cruise every year is great. But one of the most fun things for me is working with Roger to put the lineup together every year, knowing that we've put together this incredible list of artists that our guests are going to love, they've asked for, they want, and then the new stuff we've not had on the ship or that they don't even know about. So, you know, I enjoy that part of it. All right, so we've co-opted the discussion here. You guys have questions?
Yeah. One thing, you know, and I like that we're doing this podcast, and it's kind of cool that it's live, not podcast or whatever it is.
What is?
Okay. Because I think we have a couple of audiences, you know, obviously the ShipRocked family, but there's also a lot of the artists and musicians in industry. And I don't think they always understand what it is that ShipRocked is. And I'm going to do a terrible analogy here because I feel like it. And it's, if when a band, like a new band, plays on ShipRock, a lot of times what we'll get is, hey, there's 2,000 people, whatever it is, however many cabins times 2 or whatever the number of people are on the ship. What's the big deal, right? But imagine, again, you look at it like a virus, and if there was 2,400 people from all over, not only the United States, but Canada and other countries that get on that ship, they're going to spread that virus all over the world. And so for a new band, I'm sure you saw it. All of a sudden, you probably had fans in Canada and fans in Sweden, right? And fans in all over the United States. What other show in the world could you play and that happen?
Not even getting like a premiere spot at, like, as a younger band at one of the festivals, Do you even have that return? Like, I talk about this a lot, about how special our environment and what you guys have created over the years and curated, more importantly, because the patience, I don't know if you, I'm getting off topic here, but I have to say this to you, Roger. Like, have you, and I'm sure you have, ever heard this before? Oh, you're a talent buyer? I never met you before from one of the bands. Like, when you're not, because most people, like I go
have
to
no idea what we do.
Correct. And in the bands, they never meet. The people that are they never meet you or I. We're just like these weird people that don't, our job is like never.
To be fair, Chad,
yeah.
The saying, the mailman doesn't go for a walk on his day off.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're not really looking to do that either. That being said, ShipRock is one of the few things that I truly look forward to every year. And it's because of the ShipRock family. It's because of that dynamic. And so, before COVID, I mean, literally we were booking probably 5,000 to 7,000 shows a year all over the country, my team. And ShipRock's probably the only one I really wanted to go to. The rest I might, not the rest, but some of the others I went to. And that's testament to, mostly I really want to say it's testament to the ShipRock family. And a lot of these people I've gotten to know now. And, some of them will even email me trying to get bands on the cruise, which, listen, if you're out there right now, I'd love to do it, but we've got so many slots and we do the best we can.
It's funny that, like, what you're saying is so true. Like, I was going to use that analogy of what we always hear if we're in a room of the show that we booked, but that was me for you, right? So I was like, oh shit, I met the talent by, like, I was the guy in the band that said, this is the guy, like,
but you guys were actually nice to
appreciation. Me. Oh yeah. Just also another thing, like, you deal with
but you
so
did
much
ask
shit.
For some free drinks, so I don't know.
I think we did, dude. We might have been like, hey man, it's like, do you think we can get some extra beers? But the idea of us, of that job, right? It's the least thanked job for a reason in our business, but it's the job that makes the whole rest of the business work. Without a talent buyer and the many hats that we have to wear, the rest of the music business wouldn't really exist in 2021 the way that it does, because a live space is how anybody's earning, right?
How many people have asked you, like, what is a talent buyer? What do you do? And, when I describe it to people, the analogy I always use is, imagine somebody putting a blindfold on you, handing you a grenade with the pin pulled out, putting you at the front door of a house you've never been in before, asking you to walk to the back door, and then throwing shit in front of you as you're walking. That's what we do, because you book the artist. I mean, we're going to book the lineup, and Alan and I are almost done right now. But until that show plays in January of 2022, we don't know what the fuck's going to happen. And you've got to be prepared for everything. So if you're not ready to shift and kind of like, shuck and jive on your feet, band cancels, somebody gets sick, somebody throws a hissy fit because they don't have the room they want, backline gear, whatever the hell it is, you kind of a deal. One thing about the music business, it's definitely an amazing group of people we work with collectively, managers, agents, artists, production people, on and on down the list. Promoters, on and on and on down the list. But contracts are pieces of paper, and the way the dynamic can change, it's not like you're building a house, you hire a contractor, to do the plumbing, and it's all on paper. He's gonna fucking do your plumbing, and when you're done, you're done. I mean, all of a sudden we're getting asked to provide shit we didn't know we were going to provide. All of a sudden a band member changes, shit.
You just wake up and you're like, oh God, you're like excited for it, right? But at the same time, like the amount of like stress
It's
that
kind of
you can
masochistic.
Go through. Yeah, it's seriously.
I mean, there's
You're never
something
not
wrong
working.
with us.
Yeah.
Maybe we need therapy, Chad.
Yeah. That's I think why we do it is because we have an excuse, right?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
have an
that's
RV still, Chad?
Right.
there is the business side of it, which can, it's business. Business is business. I mean, I've worked in the music industry since I got out of college and even a little bit before. And
Was that 57 or 58?
43. But but I mean, it's a lot of
At
people
least you have hair.
well, yeah. I do.
Good
Mess-
hair too,
you
Al.
Need a haircut. But
Impressive.
a lot of people think the music industry is this sexy, glamorous thing, and it's a business just like any other business. And I mean, it has its ups and its downs and its frustrations and everything else. But let's be real. We get to play Santa Claus every year with a lineup. I mean, to me, that's the fun part. I mean, when I got into the music industry, I had this. Well, first of all, I wanted to work in studios, and then I got out of that. But then after that, I wanted to work in A&R because I was like, I think I have a pretty good sense of what really great music is. So I wanted to work in A&R. Never worked.
Does that matter?
I don't know. I could have a whole other conversation on that. But I wanted to work in A&R, but I never worked in A&R. I ended up being a manager and then went right, from management into the cruises. And that's the best, the funnest part for me every year is getting to curate the lineup, because I love music like our guests love music. And so, and I know Roger does too. And that's one of the things that's fun with us is that we get to really, we get to put together this amazing group of artists that perform for our guests every year. And
I love when we try and out compete each other on a new band. I found this one out. Have you heard of it? And you'll go, yeah, I've been listening to them for 2 years.
Hey, I have one this year that you've never heard of.
Which one was that one?
I can't.
Oh, you can't say. Not on here. Tell me later which one that was.
Although, you know what? You had one.
I think it's the one. It's the one that's about to confirm today, right?
I don't know. Are you telling me? Although you have one that is confirmed that I didn't know about before too this year. So.
Oh, good. And that's the kind of fun. I mean, you guys that are watching this, I don't know, 12 people, is it, Al? Or I don't know, Al's not on here. That's the kind of fun that we have.
People watching, Justin?
15.
Justin's
What now?
Justin's
How many people are
Shit,
watching?
I'm sorry, I was lost I was sleeping.
Justin's reading Moby Dick.
Oh, Justin, that hurts, buddy. I love
No,
your crowd.
yes, people are
Oh.
watching and they're asking a lot of questions. So let's get to them,
okay.
shall we?
Yeah, good idea.
All right. Yeah. Listen, this is one question I think a lot of people have. Jason asks, how much did the pandemic play a role in booking bands this year?
Good question.
Good question. Oh, fuck. You want you know what? Do you want me to take it or you want to take it out?
I mean, I'll start and then you can go. I mean, the pandemic has affected everything. I mean, from land-based festivals to club dates to our cruises. And how has it affected? I mean, there are some artists who are still apprehensive about getting onto a cruise ship. There are others who are all about, can't wait, want to come and join us. There are others who probably, they needed to learn a little bit first. Certainly it's easier for those bands, I think, who have done a cruise or have done ShipRocked in the past to be willing to come and join us. Even in the midst of all the stuff that we've been going through. But I mean, a lot of it, because so much was delayed, not just the cruise, but I mean, their touring, their album release plans, their festival performances and that sort of thing. So how has it affected us? I mean, I think it affected us in a lot of different ways in that, some of the bands that we wanted to book didn't want to do a cruise. They weren't ready yet. Weren't really sure what was going on in that time frame because they were still working out, other shows that they had booked prior that were being delayed. there were promotional things that they were working on that got pushed back. So I'm probably giving the whole answer here, Roger. Sorry. I mean, you can chime
It's
in.
okay. I
Well,
mean,
then I'll pose the next question to Roger.
okay, fair enough. Just want to add one thing to Alan's comments. I think really what it could sum up what Alan said is there's a lot of uncertainty. Bands didn't know what they were doing, what they were going to be doing, how they felt about the safety, and even from a perspective of what a band was worth in terms of paying them. It was hard because a lot of music got released during this pandemic, which was well received by the audiences or their fans. But how do you define or quantify, I guess, has a band become more popular or less popular, stronger, weaker? And that, that is also something that was tough. We were really a lot more uncertainty this year in terms of on our side and on the artist side of what we were doing.
All right. Very good. Jason, I hope that helps you get a little bit of understanding on that one. Next, I'm just going to write off some of these questions while we have them. Is that cool with you guys?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Absolutely.
Now, Steve Feller asked this question. It's a little long, so stay with me. Some years ShipRocked has had 3 headliners, and others we've had just 1 or 2. I'm curious whether this is mostly driven by availability or desire. Do you shoot for the top and then fill out below?
So Roger and I both just
I'm going, hey, this is
Roger
my
and I both
question.
just smiled at the same time because
Hey,
go ahead.
there's 2 answers. There's the budget.
Yeah.
So if you spend a shit ton of money on one act, you may not have enough left.
I didn't
for the
want
other
that
act.
was asked in there. I did not want to go to the money issue because that's
Oh,
you know
always
what?
the
Look,
number one thing.
that's
All right,
okay.
we'll talk.
It's fair. I mean, look, everything.
Okay.
Budget is budget, but it's not just that. It's availability. Sometimes it's people think that you can just go into the store like Kmart's not right, or like Target, and you just kind of pick the bands off the shelf. Well, are they touring? Are they off cycle? Do they have a record out? Are they routed somewhere else? There's so many factors. We've had years where we've got the money to spend, but we can't find a band to book because there's just the stars aren't lining up. So a lot of it is budget, but then the other side of it is availability.
There's a lot of variables. I mean, budget, availability. Do they want to do a cruise? Are they comfortable doing a cruise? There have been headliners we've had over the years that it took us several years to get them on board.
We've had to get a band member from the band to come on board as a side band. Maybe it's a small baby band that they have as a side project so they can see what ShipRock's all about and let everyone else know.
Yeah, well, I think everybody kind of figured that out. I mean, we had the members of Godsmack on, and that led to getting those guys. But it really depends. I mean, there's a lot of variables. Budget, of course, is the biggest probably part of it all. But availability, are they, like Roger said, are they touring, or are they off cycle, meaning are they between album projects, between tours? Do they want to do a cruise? Are they comfortable doing a cruise? Add all of that to the pandemic aspect of this year, and there's a lot of things that come into play in terms of, what do our headliners look like? So, okay, so Justin mentioned the 1, 2, 3. A lot of it depends on who the artist is. There are, and this is that we get into, there's a whole other side of this discussion, which I don't know that we necessarily need to touch on, although we could.
And Alan, you kind of go between that every year too. Do we want the big one or do we want the 3-headed monster?
Well, I've said this before, I think, to the guests in my Q&A on the ship, and you're right. It does depend on the year, and depends on, who are the artists that we're looking at. Do we want to spend up to get one bigger artist for the headliner, or do we want to take what we would think about spending at that point and spread it out? I call it the Moneyball approach. For those who haven't seen Moneyball, it's about,
and sometimes that's not a decision that actually Alan and I get to make. Sometimes it's a decision that's made for us based on availability.
Right.
So if, for example, we can't find a headliner at a certain price point that would give us that kind of one name on the top line, then we have to just divvy up that money between 3 acts and create a top line that's that's multiple acts.
Yeah.
So it isn't always in our control.
Well, and there's also a level of act that comes into play where if you have one act that is a clear,
Headliner.
a clear headliner above everybody else who's under, that's one thing. Because one of the things that we get into every year is billing.
Oh dear God, please don't.
No, I don't want to get into the whole aspect of billing. But
Chad, I just saw Chad shut off his video.
I was like,
so sometimes,
Yes. Hold on one
so
second.
uncomfortable.
sometimes there are artists who feel that they should.
I'm already checked in. I had to do.
Roger didn't mute his thing. Can we mute Roger? But sometimes there are artists who feel that they should be billed a certain way or billed above or below or next to or whatever, and that's an industry thing, and that's fine. I think billing is fine. I mean, look, bands want to position themselves every year that they're doing what they do so that they increase their marketability, they increase their stature, they increase their level, and that's fine. I mean, if I'm a manager and I have a band who's on the verge of a headline for a festival or whatever, I'm going to push. I mean, I'm going to push for that artist to be billed above another artist or be billed on a certain line or to the left of a line or to the right of a line. So, I mean, there's a lot of that stuff that comes into play as we put lineups together. And that comes into play depending on who we book. So, I mean, if we have one or two or three artists, sometimes.
You mean like this year?
What? Yeah,
I'm teasing.
We have one or two or three artists this year. You're right. You're correct.
That's right. Exactly.
I think we have
7?
19.
19 booked. Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Anyway,
That was kind of a Captain Ahab kind of thing you're doing. Arr, 19 matey.
but anyway, it really depends on who the artists are and how many we have booked and where they are in terms of the billing discussion. Because again, sometimes agents, managers, artists, they want to be billed a certain way, above or next to, or so the 1, 2, 3 headliners, from year to year, it depends on who the artists we have booked are. And I mean, again, I take a Moneyball approach typically every year with how we book acts, in that I would rather, we have a limited budget. I mean, that's the reality is I can only spend so much on talent every year, on artists every year. I could go out and book Metallica tomorrow, but you all wouldn't be able to afford the cruise. So
or many wouldn't, and that wouldn't be
many wouldn't. Correct. I mean, we want to provide who we think are the artists that our guests will love, and frankly, that they can afford, because
Alan, this goes off. What's
Yeah,
that? Sorry.
No,
I was just going to say, and it's interesting because we're really blessed, and this is really an awesome thing that ShipRocked will sell out before we even announce the lineup. So it's fun when Alan and I are doing the billing, we're actually booking for next year. And that's the cool thing about what we do too.
I got a few more questions here before I have one of my own. I'm sure Chad probably has something.
I do.
Yeah. I'll answer this. Tim Taylor, yes, the stars are aligning for 2022, my friend. I assure you that. This has nothing to do with the lineup, but it's something that you guys talk about finding new talent. Miranda want to know, just what new talent, doesn't have to be on the cruise, what new talent lately has both impressed you?
That's good.
I suck at names, but I've been listening, I call Alan, I'll be at the gym working out, I'll be listening to Octane, and they have the, what's that show they do on Octane where they have the new bands?
Test Drive.
Yeah. Test drive.
Is it Test Drive?
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever it is, and I'll hear, for some reason, it happens to be every time I'm working out, and I'll be texting Alan screenshots on my phone. This band really is great. You need to listen to them. So, again, thank you, Octane, for that. But we also find them sometimes through our agents will send us little snippets on acts like they did with Wilson. And and that's how we'll discover. And I know that wasn't the question. I like this kid. I love the way musical genres are interchanging today, and you'll see, rap with rock and rock with, there's just all this mixing. And every time somebody will comment to me that, hey, what's a good rock band? I don't really care about genres anymore. I just think if it's good music, and I know Alan says we're a rock cruise, and we are, but what exactly is rock? I mean, if it's good and it's high energy and it just makes you feel good, I guess. To me, I like it. And there's a kid they did a Papa Roach remix. What's his name? Alan, I keep asking you about him, and that's not to say he's going to be on Ship. Yeah. And that's not to say he's going to be on, because
no, this has nothing to do with lineup. Just personal preferences right now.
Roger.
Yeah. I mean, I like that kid, and maybe it's because I like the way that there's a lot of promotion going on about him. But I'm really going to defer to Alan, because one of the worst things is my memory is going with names, and especially after drinking this whole glass of bourbon. No, it's the bourbon.
Bourbon, you say?
Yeah,
Alan,
I really like
you,
this
bud?
new band. I really like this band Wilson that's coming up. They're great.
Check them out.
I will say, Justin, to answer the question, every year on ShipRocked for the last, I don't know how many years, there's always a band for me.
Mhm.
I book a few bands for me. Wilson was a for me band that year, the first year we booked them. And so there have been a few for me bands over the year. Early in the years of ShipRocked, In This Moment was one of my for me bands. Gosh, we've had several over the years. Let me pull up the ShipRocked past.
Bad Flower was a for me band.
All right. While you do that, let me get on to the next question while you do a search.
Real quick, Justin, is Jarris Johnson?
Yes.
Is that what you were referring to, Roger?
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
I really like him. I think he's
A
good.
lot of the ShipRockers already were way ahead, so they've kind of on this. They guys again, they're very musically knowledgeable, so it's always great benefit to have them. Tough wants to know. You can answer this yes or no. Who reaches out to who? Agents reach out to you. You guys reach out to them.
It goes both ways.
Goes both ways.
That's all we need. That's the only answer we need. It goes both ways. Just depends. Let's see. Meet and greets. Obviously, we won't know anything until we get closer to what's going on with Carnival and CDC. So that's kind of one of those questions that's a wait and see.
Yeah.
As soon
as
as we know, we'll let the guests know.
Absolutely.
So much right now.
Bumblefoot says hello to you guys.
Hello.
He's watching tonight.
Hey,
He's watching tonight. So anyway, Chad, let's get you in here, buddy. I know you got some questions.
Mine is a little bit weird because it kind of has something to do with ShipRocked, but it doesn't. It mostly has something to do with Roger. And Kaboo. I went to Kaboo. You buy for Kaboo. You put on and curate that event with, I would assume, the other Allens that are down there at the festival.
Yeah.
I had one of the better on-site festival experiences for myself going there, and that was because it was more than just the music. It felt like everywhere I would go, I was another installation, another thing for me to potentially participate in or see something I didn't see before. Do you see that's becoming more of a trend now? How do you feel about it? Are you involved with that curation?
Yeah.
And also, do you think that they can work in the ships?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that's a good question, and I love that. Thanks, Chad. When Caboose started, I was the third person in on that back about it has to be probably with COVID now. It's 6 or 7 years ago, and it didn't happen obviously in 2020, and 21 is going to be an off year, and we're hoping 22 comes back. The whole concept was that you looked at festivals as a whole, and they were catering to a demographic that was really sub 30 for the most part. And most of those people, which are great, didn't really give a shit about, how much shade you had, some of the amenities and other things. Look, I'm 56 years old. I love music. But I'm sorry, there's just certain events I don't want to go to because I just don't want to be in that environment anymore. Nothing wrong with it, I think it's great. My daughter loves it, but just not for me right now. You know, it's a difference between, look, when we were in high school, there was a certain car we had, and then you get a little older, you get a job, you get a family, and you need a certain other things. So it was our concept to try and create that. And earlier we talked about curation of a lineup and billing and the threads that go through. The one of the best moments in my life and career was, you know, I do this because back in the day I used to do, you know, play also. And I didn't really get off on the adulation. You know, I don't really, there's certain people who feed off of that love that comes from the audience. It kind of embarrasses me. And I like to be behind the scenes. I much prefer it. And so at Kaboo, the first year, I remember we had the Killers, and I sat there on stage looking out, and I knew that I had a little part in making, you know, 30,000 people really happy and forget about whatever their problems were for even a little bit of time. And there's something about that that truly, I mean, I can feel, you know, my eyes welling up right now, and I mean that. And, you know, and that's the thing with ShipRocked very much. And I love Alan, and I tell him every year, and it's not, you know, he's become much more than a client to me. He's my friend. I love him very much. And I'm so proud of what he does. And it's not just the curation, it's the experience. If you guys, I know most of you that are, if you're part of the ShipRocked family, know how much he cares about you. But whatever you think he cares about you, probably double it. Okay. And I know that. And that's something that I'm honored, humbled, and grateful to be part of. So to kind of speak to your question about Kaboo, you know, I think we started a little bit of a trend, and you saw it happening after that, where festivals started to cater to people who were 40 and 35 and 50, and, you know, that still had expendable income and wanted to go to that. And one thing I think we're still falling short of, the amenities are there, the activations are there, but something that, and Ask Alan, I talked to him about this a few times. I wanted to bring him on board on Kaboo to teach them how to create the interactive participatory. When I walk into ShipRocked, okay, and I'm the talent buyer, okay, it's like all of a sudden I got people at the door who are greeting me, handing me shit. I feel like I've walked into Disneyland. Festivals, cruises, everyone else could get a lesson from what Disneyland is. Disneyland, forget some of the theme parks, because what they do, you walk in that door, they greet you, they make you feel welcome. There are activities and experiences that you can or cannot, you can choose to participate in. And it's an experience from the minute you walk on to the minute you walk off. It feels more like a meld of theme park, corporate event, and festival. And, you know, Kaboo did a really good job and does a really good job of that. I wanted to try, and we will hopefully take it even to another level where we can bring in some of what Alan's done with ShipRocked, where there's an interactive part of it, where there is, you know, we did the meet and greets, but how about the Q&As? How about some of that stuff where, you know, I mean, I love every year I look forward, Ask Alan, I look so forward to what Alan's theme will be, whether it's Star Wars or the Wild West, or like we did with New Orleans. And I mean, that is so much fun. I mean, the music is great, but then to package it like that, just really, you know, sorry, maybe it's because I'm old and turning into Oprah Winfrey. I'm just so humbled and grateful to be part of that. And if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would do this for free just because I really, truly love doing ShipRocked.
Yeah, don't tell me you'll do it for free, Roger. That's not a good thing.
You said you'd pay me more, so we'll just cancel each other out. Okay?
Okay. All right. Deal.
Thank you for that answer. Thank you for taking the time to really explain.
You know, Chad,
I started to weld up as well. So
I know
it,
you know
so.
what? I saw it in your face. And I think any of us that are within the industry, we want it to be more than just something that's, you know, book a band, sell a ticket, do a show.
I will just, let me speak to Kaboo. I went to Kaboo in Dallas. The first year I think it was there. Honestly, I thought it was a great festival. I mean, I thought the activations, the way it was laid out, everything was great. And the lineup was amazing because Roger booked it. But it's, you know,
Al, can I say one thing? Because I apologize when Chad said, you know, one of the threads, the thing that I loved about Kaboo, And the thing I was going to say that was the highlight of my life booking was Dave Grohl came up to me, and I thought he was pissed off. His manager said they wouldn't go on until he talked to me. And so I said, dude, I don't want to meet him. I'm shy. I don't want to meet Dave Grohl. It's not that I don't like him. It's just, who am I to Dave Grohl, right? And he said, well, if you don't meet him, they're not going on stage. So I wound up meeting this guy. He grabs me by the shoulders and he says, did you book this festival? And I'm thinking he's going to yell at me or be mad at me about something. And he says, I said, yes. He goes, did you book the Zombies? Which is a pop band from the 60s. And I said, yes. And he said, well, I just want you to know that I cried when I watched their show. And that is truly, I could die tomorrow. And as far as my career goes, forget personal, that is a high point in my life. He's a good man. And he appreciates the history of music and the way you can. And that's what I loved about Kaboo, is that I could do the threading, like you said, where you take a band from 40 years ago and you put them on a festival and it links to a band that's from today. And that was something that I really enjoy and I hope to be able to do more of, because I think if you really love music, like I'm a Harley guy, I want to know the history of Harley Davidson and why it's still here. The fact that Italy, a bowling ball company from Italy called AMF, ran it for the 70s, and saved it is important to me. You can't call yourself a Harley guy and not know that shit and really believe it. Otherwise, if you're just buying a Harley and going out and putting on leathers and going riding, you're just a fake. So if you love music, you should really investigate where some of your heroes, get influenced and why they're there. And we get to do that. We get to book those bands and educate people. We have a philosophy in Madison Entertainment, which is my company, which is, I call it the 3 E's: educate, entertain, and evolve. And that's what ShipRocked and Alan does. And I think that's why I love doing it so much. We educate, entertain, and evolve, or entertain, educate, and evolve. I don't care what order you put them in, but it's great.
Well,
and the fans are smart.
I think what you do with Kaboo and what you do with ShipRocked is great, because you're right. I mean, and I think when you cut down to it, you and I love music. I mean, that's the best part. That's the whole. You go to the core, most singular part of everything that we do. Is that you and I love music, and we know that the guests of Kaboo, the guests of ShipRocked, the guests of, even the other clubs that you book. By the way, Roger, how many times have you won Small Club Talent Buyer of the Year award?
2 or 3 times, but it's not a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It's for me, it's not. I mean, honestly, I'm just grateful that I can do this, and it's not bullshit. I say that. And, and right now, Alan knows it's been a trying time through this COVID stuff when you're a small business and you're independent, and Alan is also. And you guys need to know, Alan has really struggled to keep this thing going and make sure his employees and his people are taken care of. And I've tried to do the same thing on my end, and, it's been difficult. But, Alan, we do love music, but, we also love people. Yeah. And we love the people who get on ShipRocked and the people who go into the Coach House, which is a 500 club, it's a cap club that I've been booking for 32 years. Yeah. And we love, because it allows us to do what we do. I mean, what else? Hey, Alan, what will we be doing if we weren't doing this, right?
I have no idea.
I mean, I would probably be doing construction somewhere.
I mean, listen, we're blessed to be able to do what we do. And we're blessed to be able to make a living doing it. It's been challenging over the last couple of years, obviously, with everything that's going on. But we love music. And how much fucking fun is it to put together a lineup every year of music that we love, that we know the people that go on our cruise are going to love. And anyway, it's I love that, hearing that Grohl story. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was really moving. And we get to meet some of these people sometimes. And sometimes the experiences are good and sometimes they're not so good. But I will tell you, when you do meet, honestly, when you meet people, like, I will tell you, Dave Grohl gets on stage and I don't know him, He's not my friend. I can't tell you I hang out with the guy, but I believe he gets on stage every day and is grateful for the opportunity to do so and enjoys it. And, that was something special also about Chad and the Wilson guys. And, for Alan and I think that probably sometimes when we see that, it means more to us, a lot more to us than when we see a band that gets on and just kind of feels entitled. And that happens too sometimes. And so, thanks for that, Chad, because it
Thank you.
reinvigorates me. I know that. And, it's like even when we did Bad Flower and ShipRocked, that was a favor for a buddy of mine too. And I liked them a lot. And I can tell you, I've gotten to meet those guys, and they've had their own, individual personal challenges in life. And it's nice to see them seeing some success now and having been a part early on of giving them an opportunity to get on stage. So there's so much that we get to do. And, the thing I keep saying is get to in air quotes here. And it's true. We get to do this.
We get to go.
We get to go. We get to book. We get to fucking meet Chad.
Roger, if you don't know, that's one of the number one. Well, there's two questions that we get at ASK4 every year. Is that all you do, and do you get to go? Those are the two questions that we get. Is that all you do?
Yeah.
You
But
get
what
to go?
they don't know, Alan, is how many that I get to go to that I don't want to go to.
Right.
But the truth of it is, and this is the coolest part, is that I go and enjoy going and get to go and want to go because, yes, the bands are great, but you and I, Alan, all of us on this call, we can go see those bands anywhere a lot of times. And that's great. Grateful for that.
Yeah, but nothing beats seeing them on the deck of a ship.
It does.
In the middle of the
Beyond that,
ocean.
you're
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
beyond that, getting to see them with the ShipRocked family.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Everything about ShipRocked is, and I'll start crying if I think about it too much. But it's like I'm truly blessed to be able to do what I do, because I get to book bands that I love for people who love music like I do, and bands who love to perform. I mean, that's the thing. It's like we talked about. We don't book bands that suck live. And sorry, my clock's going off here. But I love to book bands who love to perform, and bands who love playing and love music as much as we do. I think that's one of the things that really makes it work, is that we have people who love music putting it together, people who love music performing the music, and people who love music listening to the music.
I think we should stop there.
Okay.
That was like the perfect summary.
Yeah, let's stop there so I can get a question in.
Go.
Anywho, I'll concur.
You did not say anywho, did you?
Hey,
really?
man, I'm 54 years old, dude. I got the language, bro.
You should be on that commercial.
I'm a post-war baby. Anyway, hey, listen, real quick. I will concur with Grohl. If I could see Time of the Season live, just that one song, I'd be solid. Anyway, my question is this, and it goes back to kind of what your interaction between Grohl regarding the Zombies. How do you guys, and talk about evolving the crews and the lineup, and how we started? The origin was kind of like more of
that's a long
legacy rock, heritage rock, and now towards more modern. How do you guys sometimes split the difference between having new bands or bands that are still within, let's say, a decade of being around, and finding those bands that are a little bit older? How do you split that difference? How do you decide, hey, these guys would really be a favorite for our ShipRockers? They're kind of out of what we're looking for right now, but they'll work. How do you guys make those decisions?
Alan? I mean, it's such, I mean, that's like, so many of these questions are not simple answers, because, you look at it, and I mean, we're looking at one this year that is a little bit of an act from a few years ago. And I think the big thing is, was it legit? Was there credibility? Did it influence stuff moving forward? Was it just kind of an act that lucked out and had a good song and they played on the radio and they weren't very good live? Maybe that's not what we're looking for. We're looking at something that was legit, meaningful, made a difference, affected music in a way, at least made their mark, and it was authentic. At least that's what I look for. And again, it goes back to, and still does a great live show. And one of those that we've had on a few times, Living Color, I think is one that definitely points to that. Candlebox, another one. And it's interesting because the industry and music has evolved. The guys that are on this, all of us on this call, and I wouldn't doubt the ShipRocked audience, knows how much music has changed from the 80s, 70s, 60s to today, whether it's radio, whether it's how people consume music, discover artists, on and on and on. And, a lot, let's call it in the 70s and 80s, the DJs were the curators, and we had a lot of local programming and local DJs that really helped us discover music. Today, that's just not how it works. What I love, though, is that when I was a kid growing up in the 70s, I could turn on my FM radio, which was, at the time, FM was taking over from AM, and it was a wide open format, and DJs really had their way with what they could do, and you could really listen. I mean, I remember being a kid listening to everything from country to disco to rock to southern rock to metal in 1 hour on one station. I think that was really good because it allowed me to have a more evolved musical palette. And then additionally, as an artist, and I also played, it allowed you to draw upon those different influences when you were creating music. We went through a period, I'm sorry if I call it the dark ages, but where music and radio got real corporate and formats got very narrow. And so, like, if you were listening to music in the early 2000s on K-Rock in LA, you might listen to Linkin Park and 20 other bands that sounded pretty much identical to Linkin Park. And that was what you listened to. And if that was your peer group, that's all you heard. Now these people from that time are 40 and trying to feed them diversity. And I can see you nodding your head, Chad. They just don't get a lot of different genres because that's what they grew up on. So that's what imagine growing up eating nothing but hamburgers for 20 years, and then you're trying to give somebody sushi. It's pretty freaking hard. Now what I'm finding, my daughter's 25 and she's listening to everything from country to metal. She can listen to everything from Taylor Swift to Bring Me the Horizon to you name it. It really doesn't matter, everything in between. And they can all like it. So I think that it's really helpful, not only for the consumer of music, but the creator of music. And I think if we're being honest and we're listening to music, we're seeing the influence of so many different genres. And that excites me even at my age now.
Yeah, Spotify has definitely opened up that door to where people don't have to run out. I mean, we used to buy, I like what I like because I have to pay for this fucking thing. Now it's just like click on something and go, okay, I check that out. Alan, real quick on your answer, because we got one last question and then we want to do Walk the Plank with you too.
So the back to the original question, which is that, older acts. I mean, yes, we've had everything from Filter, Fuel, Candlebox, Living Color, Helmet. I mean, I love those bands. Roger loves those bands. We know that a lot of our guests love those bands. So, I mean, again, and it factors into the other thing we said earlier, which is who's willing to play a cruise, who's willing to come out and be on a ship with fans, and who's willing to who has the time, who has,
who's still together.
Exactly. So, I mean, we've had a lot of those, what we call legacy acts over the years. And those are important to me because, again, my philosophy with ShipRocked has been that I'm not beholden to subgenre or generation in terms of great rock music. I will tell you, I went and saw Jane's Addiction and Living Color in 1989. And to this day, it was one of the most impactful shows for me as just a person in my love of music. And the fact that I've been lucky enough to have Living Color on ShipRocked for 3 years, I think, blows my mind as just an avid lover of music. And they're great guys too. That's the other thing. It's like, you listen as a fan sometimes, and then you get the opportunity to meet them and really get to know them a little bit. And, the guys in Living Color are amazing. And all of them are. I mean, Paige from Helmet and Kevin and all the guys from Candlebox and everybody Richard from Filter. I mean, all the guys that we've had that I've had the opportunity to meet and get to know a little bit. those are all bands who love music and love performing. And that's a big part. Again, it goes back to what we said earlier. We want to find bands that love performing and love music and enjoy, performing for their fans. I think the legacy thing with ShipRocked will always be there. I mean, and again, we've been doing this. This is what, our 12th cruise coming up, or 13th?
Crazy.
I don't know.
Well, I think it would be 13 if we didn't miss, if we didn't,
We had F21, right? Yeah.
if we weren't
We were joking earlier. Roger and I were joking earlier about, like, okay, what if we have to refer to past lineups? How do we know? And the answer is we don't, because even I've been doing this for however many years I've been doing it now. I still have to go to our website to look at past lineups to remember who we had from year to year, because it all runs together in my head. I know it does in Rogers too.
oh
But,
my God, that's crazy.
I think the legacy act, thing with ShipRocked will always be a part of it, because hard rock music's been around a long time.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave anybody out that I think our guests would enjoy seeing. I mean, obviously there's some that we may not, be able to book, or it's unrealistic in terms of budget or whatever. But I think, we've had a number of great acts over the years who span back, into the 80s or the 90s or whatever. And I don't think that'll stop. I mean, I think we'll always try to have that element as part of what we do.
Well, I think part of it too is someone that's been involved for a while, is you want to bring on new acts because either you like them or you want to expand people's palates. You're here the trust is immense that you are offered from ShipRockers, the trust that they're going to bring in good acts. But it's also too, is like, we're going to bring on bands. Yeah. I think it's also too about bringing on bands, everyone likes, and and some days you just got to give people what they want, right? Yeah. Combination. Okay. One last question before we do walk the plank. Cause we've had you guys for a long time. We have all seen,
I'm getting told to move my RV.
Are you?
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is going to be quick. So you don't have to name names. Just make it like the silliest thing. We've all seen incredibly ridiculous riders. And Jason wanted to know, what's the most incredible rider you've ever seen? Like, not incredible, like most ridiculous, where you just went, oh my God. And what was the item?
What do you mean rider?
They're
rider,
let's say
like
they're catering rider. They're
rider.
Hey,
Oh,
the Van Halen,
rider.
the Van Halen no brown M&Ms thing.
I don't think we've ever had anything really weird, to be honest.
I'm trying to think. I'm even trying to think back, beyond ShipRocked to like some of the festival stuff.
Well, let's just stick with ShipRocked. That way we can.
Okay.
I don't think we've had.
You can park.
Yeah, not really. Yeah, we really.
Nothing?
I think
Everyone's been
become. Justin, the one thing I'll say to that is, that whole M&M's thing, which is famous.
Sure.
The tour manager for that, the production manager for that, I got to meet, and you know why that was on there, right? That was on there.
See if they're paying attention, man.
See if they read the rider.
Oh yeah, dude.
And
was that Noel Monk?
No, I can't remember. I'm sorry, but it was, that was Van Halen, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was Stuart Ross, but I can't remember. Maybe it was. I don't know.
So
but
basically,
bottom line is that's what it was.
The artists have been obviously very understanding that we're very limited in what we are, the capacity, and that's, hey, there's food on the boat, a lot of it.
Avocados.
Avocado.
They're a lot harder to find them when somebody's asking for them.
Spoken like a true East Coast Detroit boy.
Well, I mean,
right.
let's talk about the riders.
Right.
So we've not necessarily had anything weird on ShipRocked in the past, but like Roger said, there was a reason for that. And from what I understand is DLR, David Lee Roth, claimed to have come up with the idea of the brown M&Ms, because if you as a promoter or someone that the band was booking with looked at their rider and saw that you had to remove the M&Ms or whatever, if they would get to the venue and they saw that they had this big bowl of M&Ms minus the brown ones, then they knew that the promoter had read the rider, and that chances are everything else, the important stuff, the production, was probably good to go. And I get that. I actually, when I was in management, and we managed an artist, and we had in our rider a candy bar that no longer existed. You used to be able to get it, and if you Googled it, you could find it but you couldn't go out anywhere and buy it. And so we put that candy bar in the rider, and we knew.
Hold on, Alan.
Yeah.
There was Google when you were managing bands?
Well, it's whatever it was, Netscape. I don't know what it was. But
GeoCities.
Yeah, GeoCities. So we knew when we would get the call from a promoter to say, "Hey, we can't find this candy bar." We knew when we got that call that they had read the rider, and that the likelihood was that everything else that we really needed would be taken care of. So, I mean, the Van Halen story is funny because it sounds all.
But do you know how much? Do you know how much shit you put us through to find that fucker for like days
you know what, though,
until
Roger?
we made that call?
But the point is that as a manager, we knew that you read the rider, and that was the important part because
but how about the 2 days looking for the fucking candy bar?
Because if you spent 2 days looking for a candy bar, we knew that everything else that was truly important would be correct. And would be
the rigging
right.
points weren't off.
Exactly.
It was like super important. It's a trick, and I get it.
Yeah,
it makes total sense, and I respect it as a former manager. It's a total hassle for promoters. You know, thankfully we've not had anything really weird like that, and artists who are booked for 2022 don't get any ideas. But
it's Coors Light and Coors Light only.
Right. Yeah. Listen, there are only certain beverages.
Coors, it's Coors medium.
Yeah. Enjoy your screwball. Yeah, it's funny when real quick before we get my first job. Well, I'll tell you in a second. The first job I ever had in this business was as a runner, and my first artist was a heritage artist. He's part of a vocal harmony group, Steels and Young, and he wanted a certain fine tooth comb. It had to be a certain, like the tooths had to be a certain length from each other for his hair. Yeah, that was a joy to find.
I will say, you know what? Hang on, back up. So there was one year where we had an artist who had and I think, Justin, were you involved in this? Or I don't remember. There was one artist who had a very specific energy bar. I think you weren't you involved in this, Justin? Did you go out and try to find it? In Miami.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You remember? Okay. So we had an artist one year that had a very specific energy bar that was required as part of their rider.
It was the flavor of Cliff Bar that we couldn't find.
And I think Justin, God bless him, went out, and I think you found the fucking thing.
You know, I didn't realize there was that many Walmarts in Miami.
You didn't?
I think Justin went out and found the damn energy bar, and so we were able to comply. That's probably the weirdest, most specific thing we've had with ShipRocked.
Yeah, so basically pre-cruise. All right, walk the plank so everyone can get rolling here. Walk the plank, Roger, is we ask a question of you that has really nothing to do with music or anything. It's just a random question. You just give your answer. It could be anything. We do have a list of them, though, but sometimes we just kind of pull one out of our hide. Usually one from myself, one from Chad, and one from one of the ShipRockers. But tonight we're gonna pose one question to each of you separately. So Chad, you want to pose one to Roger?
Yeah, sure. Are we doing the same question to Roger and then to Alan?
Yes.
Okay. Roger, if you owned a boat, specifically a cruise boat, what would you name it?
Was your boat named? Your speedboat?
No. Shit. Damn it. Fuck, dude.
Fuck, dude. Fuck, dude is a great name.
Fuck, dude. There you go.
Fuck, comma, dude. Doesn't sound as bad then. Fuck, dude.
I like it. Good name.
Great. How about you,
sorry.
Alan? What would you? No,
He has
awesome.
one.
I have a boat. It's not a cruise ship.
Okay.
Wasn't there a name?
No. So Roger and I, one of the things we share a love of is our RVs. Roger's in his. I don't have mine yet, but it's coming soon. And we both love boats. And Roger had a speedboat for a minute, and I have a boat out on a lake. And my son named our boat, so I actually have a name, which is Not Yours.
That's right. Not yours. That's right.
And apostrophe yacht yours.
And apostrophe yacht. Got it. So would you carry that onto a cruise liner?
Why not? I mean, if you're lucky enough to own a big ass ship, why would you
Yeah.
not call it not yours, right?
I think it's great.
Right.
All right. My
That's
question
funny.
is
Awesome.
this, Roger. What do you complain about more than anything else?
Relative to the industry or relative to my
Your
personal
life. Not yeah. Hey, yeah, we have another 2 hours.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, is this
Your
PG
life.
or is this censored? No.
Dude, no, you want it, yeah.
What do I complain about most?
I know the
I think there's a shortage of humility and gratitude in the world. I'm sorry to be serious, but I think that is truly what I complain most
Well, I
about.
didn't offer the most non-serious question of all time, so yeah, it probably deserves a serious answer. So thank you.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Hey,
say,
I do want to say one thing to end this, and I know I mentioned it earlier. Truly, thanks for letting me do this. I enjoyed it. I enjoy being able to share with you guys and people how much I enjoy doing this, and how grateful I am to have come into Alan both as a human being. He's become my friend, and also just what he does is special. And I've been doing this a long fucking time. And I know Alan doesn't, I don't think he believes me, but what he does is special. He's a special guy. And you guys in the ShipRocked family, whatever you fucking think he cares about, you double it. I mean, it just is what it is. And Alan, I mean it, buddy. Thank you. Grateful.
Man, we have more Brian Song moments on this damn podcast.
Well, that's a good thing. That should tell you something, buddy. I think that's the authenticity and
It
what
is, man. Listen, I think last time we were on this, and we were doing some.
Justin, how long have we known each other? I still want my fucking other pair of those monster shorts that you gave me about fucking 10 years ago. And
Do you think I still work with them?
No.
Oh, you got the
No.
shorts.
But I'll put in a special request for you, buddy. Those gym shorts. Jesus Christ, dude! I'll go get you some champions down at Kmart.
They were my jammies. They were my jammies for 3 years until they wore out.
God, now I know what you sleep in. Shit.
oh,
Isn't that gonna make it special tonight?
Yeah. So, Alan, what was your thing that you complain about the most?
I mean, I complain about the most. I don't know. You know what's funny is that we almost need McManus in here because he probably knows more than I do what I complain about the most. But I don't know what Roger
He complains about you complaining.
Right.
Things not going fast enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Delays.
There you go.
Yeah.
Things not like okay. Fine. Lineup. I would have liked to have had our lineup 2 months ago.
What do you mean these guys can't give us an answer until next week? What the hell?
Well, that's why I hired you, though. I mean, that's the thing. It's listen.
Yeah.
Going
Let me
back
just
to
get it.
Going back to the beginning of the conversation, I was a manager for a long time, and I made the mistake of being in the manager mindset as a buyer. And Roger came along and he said, "I'm going to teach you how to say no," and thankfully he did. And but I still have that mindset of why get this done.
You know, Alan, I don't like saying no. And a long time ago, an agent who's become a dear friend told me we have one tool at our disposal, truly, and that's no.
Yeah.
And the problem is that we want these lineups and these bands to play these cruises to entertain our customers and because we love them, and we think they're great for what we do, and it's like anything else, that's the hardest thing to do is say no sometimes.
We could have an entire conversation of hour of no.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's hard, man.
We will say that for round 2.
Yes.
Justin's like, no.
No.
Yeah, no.
Hey,
listen, I'm using the power of no right now.
I don't even know how to answer the question, Justin. I mean, what was the question?
What do you complain about?
Yeah, what do you complain about most? But
that they don't make bigger bourbon glasses. I don't.
A small bourbon glass.
Mine was big.
Right now, what I complain about the most is fucking COVID.
All
Just-
right.
It's done. Move
We're
on.
done.
Next.
All right, we're done. All right, listen, everyone, guys, Roger, Alan, thank you so much for
You guys never told me this was going to be a 2-hour thing.
Well, it never usually is. You guys decided to read the Odyssey to us. So yeah. So anyway, so listen, thank you again. This would be actually be a great, and Zito brought this up. This would be a great topic for Clubhouse. That's the perfect forum for this kind of discussion.
Wait,
But tonight's been wonderful. What's that?
People do Clubhouse?
They still do. I believe it still
Yes,
lives.
I'm
Listen, thank you everyone tonight who asked questions and joined us tonight on this last minute decision to do this live. Roger and Alan, thank you for giving answers. I hope this answered a lot of questions, guys, that you maybe had, and now they kind of give you a more perspective on how this happens. But the lineup's at 19, so we're going for the big.
Yeah, we're there.
Let's go. We'll go for 20, 21, and we'll get it out to you guys.
Okay, so
Chad and Justin,
say
thank
this.
you. It's good to see you guys.
Brothers,
have-
thank you, man. Safe travels.
Very,
Safe
very good.
travels.
we have, hang on.
Thank you.
I'm gonna just one last thing.
All right.
We have, I think, one of the coolest lineups we've had in a while.
Agreed.
No?
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's put it this way. If you're going, you're going to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna
And if you're not,
Eric
fuck
talked
you.
about pictures lineup.
shit. Yeah,
There
go
ain't
anyway.
no,
It will
there ain't no
come in,
relaxing on this puppy.
Listen, no, the lineup, guys, so far. Listen, I'm privy to what's going on with it. The lineup is fucking astounding, and I think everyone's gonna love it. And they're gonna. It's really it's kind of like you guys waited a long time and were real loyal to the cruise, going through this with us. This is gonna be I'm not saying it's payback or great, but this is a gift. But it's gonna be fucking
fun.
worth your wait. It's worth the wait.
I'm excited about it. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What's funny is I thought the 2020 lineup was one of the funnest,
Mhm.
greatest lineups we've had. I still think it. I still think that 21 is even better, or 2021
20. We'll call it 20. Yeah, 20. 21.
Now,
is even
Chad,
better.
I have a question for you, Chad. Are we going to ever see a Wilson reunion?
I don't know.
Now, see, Roger,
Because
you've
we
opened
know,
the floodgates. You've opened the
we
floodgates.
know,
dude.
I know. It was intentional. And I think I know where that reunion will take place.
If, when?
The question is when.
I think you know as well too. some
Oh,
I mean,
see, hang on, because now everybody and their fucking dog is going to think that we have Wilson reunion on ShipRocked.
Alan, you know we need to leave this on a cliffhanger.
You're right.
Wah,
right.
wah, wah.
Roll the credits, baby.
Hey, speak it
Roll
up.
the
Hey.
credits.